Hey everybody, Thursday the 18th of January. So we need to address the energetic anxiety. Energetic anxiety that's presenting to some people right now. Now I have talked about my story of never being anxiety, but then in 2019 I started to experience waking up, not being able to breathe, not knowing what triggered it, so acutely that I would pace, and I'd go downstairs to the basement where it was cooler and I'd lay down, then I couldn't lay down there, and I would just have to pace back and forth, back and forth. And that happened to me 2 times in maybe a month period. And at the time, both my roommates were medical doctors, and it took everything I could not to knock on their door, tell them I needed help. Because Spirit kept saying to me, this is something you've got to master. This is something you've got to master. And I would just lay on the floor and stretch and breathe and command my body to calm itself. And so I've had a string of those since 2019, some more acute than others, but always up out of a sleep. And Spirit has said to me that past lives, that memories are coming up, and they're working their way through, and then I'm waking up as if I'm experiencing them. So my body doesn't know the difference of me being safe in my room, never having this in this lifetime, to experiencing something from another lifetime. It doesn't know any different. It's experiencing it in its full glory of pain. Yeah. And so it has occurred now probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple months as well. And again, I can't think of a trigger. I can't think of a particular thing. So I'm just allowing it to occur, and I'm overcoming it to the best of my ability. Sometimes I've had to take a lukewarm shower. Sometimes I've just had to lay on the floor and put the fan on me. Sometimes I've had to pace and self-talk and self-soothe. I'm fine. I'm in a safe place. Everything's good. My body's in great health. Okay, adrenals, you don't need to be pouring cortisol and adrenaline into my body. I am okay. So I've also contributed to is massive energy changes. Whenever there's been a massive energy change, I'm experiencing it somewhat in these ways. So now let's fast forward to recently. So a friend of mine, who's also a client, expressed going through something that was like electrical things going through their body, and hypersensitive to sounds, to noise, that everything was different, to feeling like their body was in so much pain that they didn't want to be left alone because they didn't trust themselves on how they were going to respond, or maybe hurt themselves. And this person even expressed, I felt like if I banged my head against the wall, it would have felt better than what I was already experiencing. And of course, we know this to be anxiety, and this person finally went to the ER, and that's what they told her. It's anxiety. It sounds just like anxiety, but she knew deep down that it wasn't anxiety. Now, I too have experienced that electrical movement. It's like my whole nervous system was being reconfigured, is how Spirit told me. And just to lay there and to go with it, to breathe, to allow every branch of my system to be reorganized. It was being calibrated differently. And so in some ways I had unplugged, but I was plugging in somewhere, and all of it felt unfamiliar. So the response is anxiety. So this person is telling me about all this. And so then I had someone else tell me that something came over them in the middle of the night, that they felt so disoriented and unsure of who they were, and so bizarre that they had thoughts that were outside of any realm of civil towards themselves, without getting into a lot of detail. So I've had a few clients who have told me that they've been experiencing these spells of really bizarreness. I don't know where I am in the universe right now. It's like, how did I get here? Now, the other thing is, I care for an elderly dementia patient. And he too, on Tuesday, was making so much sense and yet not sense, because he was trying to figure out his own situation. He's like, I'm a very educated person, and I make decisions based on A, B, and C. And I just don't understand how I made that decision to buy this house and live in this house, even though he had bought it 20 years ago. So he was making so much sense. And so, being the compassionate person that I am, I just listened and asked Spirit to guide me through how to get this person possibly out of the painful mental turmoil that they were in. It's a battle. But even people who don't have dementia are going through this bizarre, energetic anxiety, is what it would be classically categorized as in the medical field. And it's more than that. It's more than just that. It may be your response mimics all the anxiety triggers in those categories, but the root of it is different. And so Spirit's saying, you're being connected differently. Obstacles are being removed that you're accustomed to playing with. I remember a couple years ago, I did a video on the invisible obstacle course, and I say that a lot of times. It's what trips you up, and then you got to come back another lifetime and redo it again. And you're like, damn it, I tripped over the same lessons again, and now I got to come back. And this lifetime was about us actually doing it once and getting over it, and then being able to see the invisible obstacle course clearly. But I also said at least 2 years ago, the invisible obstacle course has been dissolved, but people are tripping over it because they're accustomed to something being there. And so a lot of it isn't the habitual mind and body. And I think I've used the analogy of moving the furniture around, and then you'll walk by, and as if something is there, and you'll walk around and you're like, oh, it's not there anymore, I moved it. What? But your body has movement memory, right? So we have a mental, physical, and emotional movement memory regarding these obstacle courses. And so now we've got a playing field that's more clear. And, I talk about, cleaning off that whiteboard and starting over. So as people were telling me about this energetic anxiety, I also was thinking about all the people that have been taking their lives lately. And I'm wondering if someone is getting into the middle of this muck and they don't know how to get out of it, and then they're reacting to just leave the planet in any way that they possibly can, even though maybe they didn't intentionally mean to do it. It's like addiction. Most people that are addicted don't think that that's going to be their last high. They leave the body and go, how did that happen? That's not what I meant to do. So, some suggestions. It's happening. It's happening. For me, a few months back, I was pulling away from my morning iced tea. That's my only caffeine. I was pulling away from it. I was drinking more water and herbal tea, and then mushroom decaf coffee, because I don't like coffee. I love the smell of it, but I don't like to drink it. Upsets my stomach. Caffeine doesn't get me up in the morning. I don't need a bullet. I don't need that hype to get me going in the morning. Listen to your body. It may need less caffeine. It may need a methylated B, so it absorbs better in your body. It may need some omega fish oils. It may need some ginkgo biloba. It may need more vegetables where you get your proteins and your aminos and your micro and your macronutrients and your antioxidants. Maybe you need more veggies. Maybe you need more stillness away from the monkey mind. So you've got to put on soft music in order to get to a place and a space of more relaxation. Maybe you need to reach out and touch a friend. I'm here if you need me. These isolated moments that are coming on so strong are causing some people to leave the planet before they're supposed to leave the planet. Their contract is not necessarily up. Maybe it was up under similar circumstances in another lifetime, but this lifetime it's not. You're supposed to go on, but you choose to maybe react. I'm not saying that the dark isn't having a last hurrah. I'm not saying that. But whatever it is, you can overcome it, because there's more light, more light, more light, more light at the end of this tunnel that's going to get you through. It's going to move you through to the next level of the unknownness and the unexpected that could be creating some of this angst and anxiety. Because we are creatures of what? We want to know. Inquisitive minds, inquiring minds, we want to know. Are you able to sit still and just know in the moment that you are freaking okay? You're freaking okay. I've got food in my belly. I've got a roof over my head. I'm protected from the elements. I'm able to pay my bills. Might be a hardship. Whatever you got to do to take the micro things of success and bring them into a place of appreciation and gratitude. And know that you're okay. And decrease some of the things that may be increasing the nervous system to be a little on whack. And the adrenals to be a little on whack. Close those valves. You do not need the adrenal fight or flight. You don't need it. Keep it in a reserve for a very special moment when you do. Because we're running on adrenal fatigue. We're running on not enough sleep. We're running on not enough hydration, not enough antioxidants, not enough of other things that are now going to contribute and mimic more and exacerbate more of the energetic anxiety. Don't beat yourself up so badly, and reach out if you need a session. And stop listening to things that are going to be like, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and Stop your nonsense. How does that help you right here, right now? Be calm, cool, and collected. It doesn't. It takes you way off your game, down the road to what could be. Could possibly be. And you know what? You're feeding that timeline. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? I'm not participating in that. I am not clicking that again. I am not feeding that strand, that thread of crazy. I'm going to live right now, here. I'm going to breathe in that. I'm going to move from there. And I'm not going to allow interferences that whack me out. I'm not going to plug myself into giant generators that are just going to implode me. I'm just not going to do it. Break the cycle. All right? Okay, you guys, have a fantastic day. So much love. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you all on the next video.